What's up, folks? I'm Chris, your MLB writer here at Occupy Fantasy, here with a look at the 14-game main slate on Tuesday, July 12th on FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo. As always, we like to start by looking at our favorite starting pitcher options on any given slate, and tonight, Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees in his matchup with the Cincinnati Reds is our number one option. Leads are modeled by a healthy amount with an 18.5 OF index, nearly 3 index points higher than anybody else on the slate. Biggest favorite on the slate, minus 335 on the money line with a giant, almost 50-cent money line move in his favor in betting markets. So a lot of money coming in on the Yankees today. Reasonable StatCast performance recently. Got beat up by the Red Sox last time out, so that's why this exit velocity is a little lower, but not super worried about that. Cole projects for 1.31 strikeouts per inning, which is the highest amount on this slate this evening. The Reds are an above average strikeout offense against right-handed pitchers. Inside the top 5, go over to FanGraphs. Yep, they are exactly 5th in terms of K rate against right-handed pitchers this year. Well below average by weighted on base average, weighted runs created. So, gotta like the spot for Garrett Cole to be the number one guy that you want to put in your lineups in all contest formats tonight in DFS at starting pitcher. Now, obviously, he's expensive. There are a lot of other expensive arms that we like to pair with him, so it may require some creativity with our stacks that we play this evening. Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox in Game 2 of a doubleheader against the Guardians this evening. A great play on DraftKings only. $9,700, minus 175 on the money line tonight. Projects for just under 1.2 strikeouts per inning. I think Cease makes a ton of sense in all contest types on DraftKings. Luis Garcia of the Astros is facing the Angels, who have the highest strikeout rate in baseball by a wide margin, especially against right-handed pitching. So that's why Garcia is in a really strong spot to succeed here. Not typically the Astro pitcher with the most strikeout upside, but in a matchup with the Angels, we like him a lot this evening. Spencer Strider, this guy's been on a tear this year. I think he's currently the odds-on favorite for Rookie of the Year in the National League. That's how good he has been. He comes in with a 14.1 OF index, number 4 in our model. Minus 190 on the money line against the Mets tonight. Projects for 1.26 strikeouts per inning. That's because the Mets are actually very good at avoiding the strikeout against right-handed pitching. Strider is averaging 1.5 strikeouts per inning over the last year's worth of his outings, but here in a matchup with the Mets, who have the second lowest K rate against pitchers of his hand in this type, could see that come back to a still very, very strong 1.26 strikeouts per inning. That's why he's a little lower. Strider's salary has actually normalized. He's actually right up here with the rest of the stud pitchers where he belongs at $9,800. We've been jamming him into lineups the last few outings because he's been in the 7,000s, 8,000s. Now he's finally priced appropriately, and that's why his model ranking is a little bit more in line with some of these other guys that are of similar quality on the slate. Chris Sale, the Boston Red Sox, the left-handed starter, making his major league debut this year. He had a pretty lengthy rehab, and I do think he is stretched out to go deep enough into this game to qualify for a win and potentially a quality start. Now, the Tampa Bay Rays against lefties are actually very tough. They have one of the lower strikeout rates against left-handed pitchers, so Sale not exactly in the strongest spot to succeed. Slight money line favorite. I think he's a pretty good play in high-risk contests. Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants, big minus 210 moneyline favorite against the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. Not a ton of strikeout upside, 0.62 projected, but very good recent batted ball data. Another pitcher I would consider probably mostly in low-risk contests this evening. Now, who are we targeting in high-risk contests? Which pitchers do we think are worth exploiting with offenses this evening? First thing we like to do is look at the worst ranked pitchers in our model. So reverse the sorting here. So we have no money line in yet for this Blue Jays and Phillies game. So I think I'm going to skip over that. Bilotti, though, for the Phillies with the 8th furthest batted ball distance allowed in all of baseball over the last couple of weeks. So that may make the Blue Jays kind of interesting. Graham Ashcraft with the Reds facing the Yankees, the lowest ranked starter that we have data fully in for. So we may be interested in Yankee stacks this evening. Minnesota against Jason Alexander. San Diego at Coors Field against left-handed Austin Gomber is definitely going to be the most popular option on this slate and probably one of our favorite stacks. Definitely think that's worth considering. Matthew Liberatore with the St. Louis Cardinals had a pretty good outing last time out, but he gets the Dodgers tonight, and he still has some of the hardest batted ball exit velocity against allowed in all of baseball. So I think the Dodgers will be a team that we are looking at as well. Stacks dashboard. No surprise here. The Coors Field game, number 1 in the model, both sides of it. San Diego with a 66 Occupy Fantasy Index cumulatively as a team, more than 15 points higher than anybody else in the model. This is where everybody's going to go tonight. I do think San Diego probably makes sense in low-risk contests especially, just given how popular they're likely to be. In fact, running our model optimals, straight up optimal with our model, it wants to play as many Padres as possible. Using the lineup builder at RocketFantasy.com, got a ton of Padres lineups in MME, so we can't avoid them tonight, I don't think anyway. The Dodgers would be the other place to go that I think makes sense. With the highest weighted on base average projection, that tends to have the highest correlation with a floor of fantasy point production. The Dodgers facing Liberatore of the Cardinals, maybe a really strong spot to go. The Phillies are kind of interesting. I do think there's some mini stack potential here. We see the second highest projected isolated slugging, really low team WOBA, and obviously team total not in yet. The big boppers here, Kyle Schwarber and then this young rookie Garrett Cole, actually have really strong ISO WOBA splits against right-handed pitchers. Let's look at the San Diego Padres since they are basically the most important decision point on this slate. You see we have Schwarber and Hall here, both inside the top 10 on the slate. That's why I brought them up. San Diego is going to have a really strong opportunity to succeed against Austin Gomber. Gomber allows an elite isolated slugging and weighted on base average to right-handed hitters, especially. Manny Machado, obviously the number one guy on here that we think will be worth targeting tonight, but also Luke Voit at first base, if he's in the lineup, has good splits against righties. Brent Rooker in the outfield at the minimum price, an elite 212 isolated slugging against right-handed pitching. Over the last year of his plate appearances, like what we have available to us in some spots here with the Phillies, and I do think playing somebody like Rooker, who hopefully comes in a little lower owned, at a lower price, lower in the batting order, will help us get a little different playing the most popular team on this particular slate. Now, the other side of that game, the Rockies. They're facing Mike Clevinger of the Padres, former Cleveland Guardian pitcher. Clevinger actually has really good splits. This is just a Coors Field play, a huge weather bump in Coors Field for all hitters, both sides of the game. But the Stacks dashboard is reflecting the downside, especially with the Rockies. 21st by isolated slugging, 22nd by weighted on base average on the entire slate. That's well in the bottom 25% on the day with 28 teams playing. So I would not play the Rockies outside of high risk. They're not a good low risk lineup tonight, in my opinion. The Baltimore Orioles are facing Adrian Sampson of the Chicago Cubs tonight. Right-handed pitcher, allows an elite isolated slugging to hitters from both sides of the plate. Slightly worse against lefties in the weighted on base average department. So I would look at some of the lefties in the Orioles in high-risk contests as an option. A lot of options in a 14-game slate. Not going to go into them player by player, but the White Sox, with the second highest weighted on base average projection on this slate, would be a team I would consider. The Twins are in that range, as well as the Braves and the Texas Rangers looking at our model. The Yankees a lot further down by OF index isolated slugging, but with their high implied team total will probably be very popular this evening. For the purposes of this video, I'm exploring a Garrett Cole lineup with the Padres. 55-50 per player remaining with this 5-man stack and Garrett Cole in here. That means I can play Luis Garcia, still have over $4,000 remaining at the rest of my slots here to fill up my lineup with a secondary stack. That's more than enough. And you may not even need Garcia. You could play Dylan Cease and have a little bit more. According to our model tonight, it does like that as a potential path. Over on FanDuel, Garrett Cole, 4 high upside San Diego Padres hitters, $2,700 per player remaining to fill the rest of your lineup. This is a really intriguing challenge tonight, but I do think that this is a very viable path this Tuesday in MLB DFS. If you want to talk about MLB DFS right up until lock every single day, you consider joining our Discord. There's a link to do so below the description of every video that we post on this channel. 60% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so I don't typically ask this, but please consider giving us a thumbs up on the video, letting us know you like it, and subscribing to the channel to see more of these videos in your feed when we post them. We post every single day during the week of the MLB season. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for more MLB DFS.